Welcome to TV Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: from a ludicrously capacious bag to fake sausages, Succession props draw luxe prices. Sam Kerr posts upbeat photo from hospital after undergoing surgery to fix her ACL. The first 15-day Australian Open begins with a Sunday start in Melbourne. How to watch the Miami Dolphins vs Kansas City Chiefs game tonight on Peacock. The Plastics and Their Burn book are back in the Mean Girls reboot, but has the story lost its edge? From a ludicrously capacious bag to fake sausages, Succession props draw luxe prices. Associated Press. Props from the HBO drama series Succession have been sold at auction, with the most expensive item being a set of 4 pink index cards with Roman Roy's eulogy notes for his father's funeral, which sold for $25,000. The auction, which took place in Dallas on September 18, raised a total of $627,825 across 236 lots. Other items sold included a Burberry tote made famous when Matthew McFadden's character Tom Wamsgans ridiculed it, which sold for $18,750, and a scorpion paperweight prop, which sold for $10,000. The auction, which was online, showed that people were more interested in meaningful objects than the show's high-end fashion, according to Heritage Auctions spokesperson Robert Wilinski. Sam Kerr posts upbeat photo from hospital after undergoing surgery to fix her ACL. ABC. Australian soccer player Sam Kerr is recovering after undergoing surgery to repair her anterior cruciate ligament. Kerr suffered the injury while training in Morocco with Chelsea. She posted a message on social media from her hospital bed, expressing her positivity and asking for Netflix recommendations during her recovery. Kerr has been a key player for Chelsea in the FA Cup, scoring 5 goals in the past 3 finals. Chelsea manager Emma Hayes expressed her confidence in the team's ability to continue their success without Kerr. The first 15-day Australian Open begins with a Sunday start in Melbourne. Associated Press. The Australian Open has begun with players starting on a Sunday for the first time in the tournament's history. Novak Djokovic, aiming for a record 25th Grand Slam title, is set to open his campaign in the night session on Rod Laver Arena. Other notable matches include Aryna Sabalenka defending her title and Caroline Wozniacki returning to the Australian Open after a 4-year absence. The tournament is also honouring Yvonne Goolagong-Cawley on the 50th anniversary of her first Australian Open title. How to watch the Miami Dolphins vs Kansas City Chiefs game tonight on Peacock. Yahoo! The Miami Dolphins will face the Kansas City Chiefs in the wild card weekend of the NFL playoffs on January 13. The game will be streamed exclusively on Peacock, with the exception of local viewers in Kansas City who can watch it on KSHB, Channel 41. Peacock offers a subscription for $5.99 per month, which allows viewers to stream live sports and events airing on NBC, as well as access to shows and movies. Other streaming options for the NFL playoffs include Fubo TV, Hulu Plus Live TV, NFL Plus, ESPN Plus, Sling TV, YouTube TV, and Amazon Prime Video. The Plastics and Their Burn book are back in the Mean Girls reboot, but has the story lost its edge? ABC. The 2023 remake of Mean Girls, based on Tina Fey's original 2004 screenplay, has been criticized for lacking the grit and darkly comic undertones of the original film. The updated version, which is narrated through mobile phones and TikTok, also fails to acknowledge the prevalence of issues such as fat phobia, homophobia, and sexual abuse in today's society. While the remake is more inclusive in terms of its cast, it fails to accurately represent the experiences of modern teenagers and lacks the impact of the original film. How the wildest race for riches since the gold rush really unfolded in the 1970s. ABC. The Gemfields in Queensland's Central Highlands, Australia, which is now a popular area for tourists and small-scale miners, was the scene of controversy in the 1970s when machinery mining was introduced. Small-scale miners clashed with the state government, tourism groups, and the local council, who supported the use of machinery. Thai gemstone buyers also entered the scene and rapidly bought up land in the area. The conflict between hand miners and machine miners reached a climax when the mining warden had his tires shot out by a disgruntled miner. However, the tensions eventually subsided. A movie called Buddies was made in 1983, based on the events in the Gemfields during the 1970s. The movie depicted clashes between bulldozers and hand miners, explosions, and piles of cash. Although some aspects of the movie were exaggerated, it accurately captured the atmosphere of the time. Currently, the Queensland government is proposing changes to small-scale mining in the Gemfields, including capping claim tenures and improving land rehabilitation. The changes have received mixed reviews from the local community. Here are the biggest Mean Girls Easter eggs in the new musical movie, The Independent. The new Mean Girls movie musical, which is an adaptation of the Broadway show, features multiple references to the original film. The star-studded cast includes Lindsay Lohan, who played the original Katie Heron, appearing as a judge in a mathletes competition. There are also cameos from Tim Meadows and Ashley Park, who both appeared in the original film and the Broadway show respectively. The new movie incorporates iconic lines from the original movie, such as "On Wednesdays, we wear pink," and continues the romance between the teachers Ms. Norbury and Mr. Duval. How to watch the 2023 Emmy Awards in 2024, this weekend, new time, channel, full nominee list and more. Yahoo! The 2023 Emmy Awards, which were delayed due to strikes, will take place on January 15, 2024, and will air live on Fox. The awards will be available to stream on demand the following day on Hulu. Succession received the most nominations with 27, followed by The Last of Us with 24, The White Lotus with 23, and Ted Lasso with 21. The awards will be hosted by Blackish star Anthony Anderson. Among the nominees are shows such as Andor, Better Call Saul, The Crown, and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, among others. There will also be a 2024 Emmy Awards held in September with nominees from this year. The Emmy Awards typically take place in September at the end of the awards season, but were delayed by 5 months due to strikes by SAG-AFTRA and WGA. This year's nominees are limited to shows that aired between June 1, 2022, and May 31, 2023. Prince William personally arranged Windsor walkabout with Prince Harry after late Queen's death. Telegraph. Prince William organized a walkabout in Windsor with his wife, brother, and sister-in-law following the death of Queen Elizabeth II, according to a new biography. The book claims that the Duke of Cambridge asked others if it would be right to greet the mourning crowds in the context of his grandmother's death. The walkabout lasted around 40 minutes and was described as awkward by a member of the Wales's team. The biography also reveals that Prince Charles and Prince William had discreet discussions at Birkhall after the Queen's death, while the rest of the senior royal family stayed at Balmoral. En route to recovery, smiling Sam Kerr's positive message. The Sydney Morning Herald. Australian soccer player Sam Kerr has undergone surgery to repair her anterior cruciate ligament, which means she will likely miss the Olympics. Kerr offered an upbeat message to fans from her hospital bed, expressing her optimism for a full recovery. She also asked for recommendations of things to watch on Netflix during her recuperation. Meanwhile, Kerr's team, Chelsea, is set to defend their FA Cup title against West Ham. Kerr has been a key player in the team's recent cup victories, scoring crucial goals in the finals. Chelsea manager Emma Hayes expressed her confidence in the team's ability to continue their winning streak without Kerr. And that's a wrap on today's news. From extravagant auction prices for Succession props to Sam Kerr's positive message from the hospital, we've covered quite the range of stories. But let's dive a little deeper, shall we? First, let's talk about those Succession props. Who knew that pink index cards and a Burberry tote could fetch such high prices? It seems that fans of the show are eager to own a piece of the series, even if it means paying a pretty penny. But what's even more interesting is that people were more interested in the meaningful objects than the high-end fashion featured on the show. So, maybe it's not all about the labels after all. Speaking of labels, let's move on to the Australian Open. The tournament has kicked off with a Sunday start for the first time ever. Novak Djokovic is aiming for yet another Grand Slam title, while Aryna Sabalenka defends her title. And let's not forget the tribute to Yvonne Goolagong-Cawley on the 50th anniversary of her first Australian Open win. It's sure to be an exciting 2 weeks of tennis down under. Now, let's switch gears to a different kind of competition, the NFL playoffs. The Miami Dolphins will be facing off against the Kansas City Chiefs, and if you want to catch the game, you better have your streaming options ready. Peacock is exclusively streaming the game, but if you're in Kansas City, you can catch it on KSHB. And if that's not enough, there are plenty of other streaming services to choose from. Who said watching football couldn't be complicated? Next up, we have the Mean Girls reboot. While the updated version includes some familiar faces and iconic lines, it seems to have lost some of the edge and social commentary of the original. The remake fails to address important issues such as fat phobia, homophobia, and sexual abuse in today's society. But hey, at least we still get to wear pink on Wednesdays, right? Moving on to the gemfields in Australia, it seems like the drama from the 1970s is still lingering. The conflict between small-scale miners and those in favor of machinery mining reached a boiling point, with explosions and piles of cash at the center of it all. While the tensions have subsided, proposed changes to small-scale mining have sparked mixed reviews. It's a reminder that history has a way of repeating itself, even in the world of gemstones. And finally, let's talk about the upcoming Emmy Awards. Due to strikes, the awards ceremony has been delayed, but it's finally happening this weekend. Succession leads the pack with the most nominations, followed by The Last of Us, The White Lotus, and Ted Lasso. There will also be a second Emmy Awards ceremony in September, with nominees from this year. It's a unique situation, but hey, who doesn't love a double dose of celebration? Well, that's all for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed our whirlwind tour through the latest news. Remember, I'm always here to keep you entertained and informed. And now, it's your turn. What are your thoughts on today's stories? Any burning questions you'd like to ask? The floor is yours, my friends. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.